Hey everybody, this is Cristina from craftmuse, and today's tutorial is going to be for a little Donald slash Daisy mini Tsum Tsum. Now this is the 2015 holiday version, so I only have Donald right now. Hopefully I can get my hands on Daisy, but this is what the actual Tsum Tsum looks like here. So this is what I came up with as a mini version. So since he has like a little furry butt, I gave him wrap bands at the bottom. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you don't like the way it looks, then you can just continue around to do his butt like regular, like his face. But I thought it was kind of cute to add the little fluff to his bum. So this tutorial is going to be like a 2-for-1, so you can make Donald and Daisy, or you can make, whichever one you choose to do. So since I already made Donald, I will be making Daisy today. And if you want to make Donald, you'll need some white and then some green, a little bit of red, and a little bit of neon orange. And then if you want to add like a little details to a scarf, you can do that. If you have any like snowflake buttons, I think that would be really cute. They'd have to be smaller, but I didn't have anything like that, so I just kind of left that empty and just added like that thing right there in gold. And then if you're making Daisy, you'll just need the white, of course, some red for her scarf and for her bow, and if you want to add whatever to the scarf. So it's gonna be pretty simple tutorial. So, oh, you also need like 2 blacks if you're making Daisies, because you'll need to add some eyelashes to her. And then you'll also need, of course, your crochet hook, a stitch marker, or C-clip, and some polyfill. So let's get started on this. It's a pretty simple design, not very hard at all. There's nothing hard at all on doing this. So it's faster because it's it's the mini one. The only part that's going to take a little bit longer is going to be adding the little wrap bands to make the fuzzy bum, but that's really not that bad either. So the first thing we want to make, we're going to go ahead and make the little beak and then the little feet and arms, and then we can get started with the rest of that. I also failed to mention that you will need something for the eyes, so I will be using 9mm pony beads, which are like the standard size that they come in, I guess. But you could go ahead and use the smaller pony beads if you have those instead, or wrap bands, or safety eyes, whatever you guys have. The safety eyes that I used on the mini Donald are the 9mm ones as well. So we're going to start off with the little beak. So you're going to need like some kind of orange or yellow. I'm using the neon orange. I'm going to take one band and wrap it around my hook once. And then I'm going to grab all those and wrap it around again. So I just made a cap band. And then I'm going to chain, let's see, how many did I do? 4 double looped bands. So I'm going to take one band, double loop that, and pull this capping band on, push it to the center, slide down, and reclaim. And then I'm just going to make sure that that's centered. So that's one. I'm going to add 3 more. So here's another. Whoops. These bands, like, these neon orange ones break so easily for some reason. Okay. So there's 2. Another one and double loop it. There's 3. And then one more. Double looped. So you should have your capping band plus 4 double looped. And then you're just going to take a white band. I'm sorry if I sound like all nasally, like really congested right now. You're going to take a white band and slide it through and up onto your hook, and then tie that into a slip knot. And then I'm also going to add another tying off band to the cap band. So I'm going to put my hook through all 4 of those loops in the cap band. And then I'm going to grab another white band and tie a slip knot to that as well. Let's see. Seriously, what are you doing? Okay. So just like that, that's our little beak. And then let's make the feet. So you're gonna grab 2 orange bands, wrap it around your hook once, and then you're gonna grab all those bands and wrap around again. Then you're gonna grab a white band and pull that on. So that's 1 foot. Set that aside for later. Make another one. Grab another white band, pull that on, get on there. And then we're gonna make the arms. So the arms are gonna be white. So if you're making Donald, you're gonna be putting a white cap band onto a green band. And if you're making Daisy, you're gonna be putting it onto a red band. So for either one, take 2 white bands, wrap it around your hook once, and then again. And then I'm making Daisy, so I'm going to put it on a red band. If you're making Donald, put it on a green band. Whatever color you're using for your scarf. That, and then grab 2 more white bands and make another one. Okay, now we can go ahead and make Donald's little hat. So if you're making Daisy, you could skip this part. It's really quick anyway. So, but if you're making Donald, we're gonna have to make this little thing here. And what it looks like on here is it's just a piece of felt, but it does have like a brim. But I had no clue how to make a little like tiny brim out of this, so I just made a little square and tied it on. So if you guys have a better idea of how to add this little tiny hat, then go ahead and do that. But if you want to make the one that I used here, I'll show you how to make that. So I have to remember what I did. Okay, so you're gonna take red and you're gonna make a total of 3 cap bands. So wrap 1 band once, grab all those and wrap again. Scoot that down to the bottom, grab another red band and make another capping band. So you have 2 on your hook now. Scoot that one down and make another one. So you should have 3 on your hook. Just like that. Now I'm going to take a single red band and slide all of these on. And then I'm going to keep holding onto this end and push this down here and put 3 more cap bands. So while I'm holding on to this end, I'm going to be putting 3 more cap bands. So here's, it's kind of hard to do it one-handed. There's 1. There's 2. And then 1 more. Once you've done the 3 cap bands, then you can place the other end of this one back onto your hook. So you should have that right now. And then we are going to slide all of this onto a single band. So we will do this one here, and then we'll start adding our capping bands one by one. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just slide that towards the center. Maybe go ahead and stretch this bottom red band a little bit. It's kind of hard because these are jellies bands, so they're not going to stretch. But once you tie this on, it's going to squeeze your shape a little bit together so it'll look more like a square. You can carefully take that off your fingers and your hook, and it should hold by itself. But if you're afraid that it's going to fall off, then go ahead and stick it on a different hook or like a pencil or a toothpick just to hold it for now until we attach it onto Donald's head. So I'm not making Donald, but there's an extra hat. And then if you want to make Daisy, I'm just going to make a quick bow, just the normal basic bow. I'm just making a smaller bow. For the other Daisy that I made a larger bow, but since this is like such a small design, I'm just making the simple bow. So I'm just going to put as many bands as you want on your loom. It's easier to do on your loom or anything that has like 2 pegs, like you could use the cover, the mini loom, I guess. So I put 5 bands around 2 pegs, and then I'm just going to take another band and bring it underneath. So I've got it underneath. I'm going to grab the other end and then just tie that into a really tight slip knot. I'm just making sure it's centered so that I have an even amount of frill on both sides, and then I'm just going to carefully pop this off the pins. And then you can just keep wrapping this around. Just getting all of the little like things that we have to attach out of the way just to make it easier. So we don't have to make them later. Okay, so there's my boring bow. Now let's get started on the main part. So I will let you know when we need to switch colors to the scarf color. So, but for now we're just going to be using white. And if you want to get your eyes ready for to put on the face, just like stick your pony bead onto a white band or a capping band. Just slide it onto a white band if you're using wrap bands for eyes, because we will be adding these into the second row around. So just have those handy. Okay, so here are the instructions. So for row 1, we will be starting off with a magic ring in 6 stitches, so that we have 6 stitches in white. Let me get my white ready. And so I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around my hook twice so that I have 3 loops. I'm going to take another white band, slide this capping band onto that white band, push down and reclaim, and then I'm going to slide this first band here underneath this one here, like I'm creating a very loose slip knot. I'm not going to pull it tight, I'm just keeping it nice and loose. And then I'm going to stick my hook through the capping band. You want to make sure you get through all 3 loops of the capping band. Next, you're going to take another band and bring it through the cap band only. Leave this band over here alone. So I kind of just hold on to that, just, you know, so you know not to bring your band through this loop over here. Just through the cap band, and then reclaim onto your hook. And then you're just going to take this band here and slide under these 2 here. Just like that. And you're going to continue doing that till you have 6 stitches. So that was number 2. This will be number 3. This will be number 4. Go back in. Here's number 5. Go back in. Here's number 6. So this is what you should have when you're finished. You should have 6 of these little V-shaped things on the sides, which these are your stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the band that's on your hook is 6. So I'm going to take my C-clip and place it on the band that's on my hook. Now this is the row that I'm going to be adding my eyes, so just get those ready. Now our next row around is going to be increasing in all 6 stitches so that we end up with 12 stitches. So an increase is just putting 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So we're at 6 and we're just going to double that number to 12. Our eyes are going to be going in stitches 2 and 5. So I'm trying to remember. Okay. So our first eye, while we're in stitch 2, is going to go in the second single crochet that we're putting in for the increase. And in stitch 5, the eye is going to go in the first stitch that we're putting in for the increase. But of course, I will show you, how to do that. So go into your first stitch there. Now we're going to put an increase. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So bring your band through the stitch only, leave this stitch over here alone, and reclaim onto your hook. So you should have 3 bands on your hook. I'm going to slide this first band through these 2 here. So just slide under. Now that was my first single crochet. I need to put one more in. So I'm going to go back through that very same stitch, grab another band, bring it through the stitch only, up onto my hook, and then slide under. So that was my first increase. So now I can move on to my second stitch, and I want to add my eye here. But first I'm going to put in my first single crochet. So I'm going to put my band through the stitch, up onto my hook, slide under. I'm going to go back into that second stitch, grab my eye, put one end onto my hook, bring it through the stitch only, put the other end up onto my hook, and then slide under. Now continuing on, I'm going into my third stitch and I'm going to do an increase there. So there's 1 single crochet, go back into that third stitch, and there's 2. Moving on to my fourth, there's 1, go back in, and 2. Now I'm on my 5th stitch where I want to add my second eye. So I'm going to go into that 5th stitch and I'm going to add my eye first. So grab your eye, stick your hook through one end, bring it through the stitch only, up onto your hook, and then slide under. You're going to go back into that 5th stitch and put a regular single crochet in. Okay, now we are on our last stitch, so we need to do an increase in that last one. So there's 1, go back in, and 2. So now you should have a total of 12 stitches around. So if you count them, you'll see that you have 2 smaller stitches, one right after the first eye that you put in, and one right after the second eye that you put in. Make sure that you single crochet in those in our next row around. It might be kind of hard to see, but they're there and you need to count them in with your next round. So I have 1, 2, 3, a small 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a small 9, 10, 11, and 12. Go ahead and place your C-clip on that band that's on your hook. We are now working on row 3. So we're going to be doing a single crochet and then an increase. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase. So we're going to just repeat that pattern all the way around so that we will end up with 18 stitches in the end. So my first stitch is just a single crochet, so just one. So through the stitch only, up onto my hook and slide under. My second stitch is going to be an increase, so I need to put 2 single crochets in there. So there's one, I'm going to go back in, and there's 2. My third stitch will be a single. My fourth one, which is tiny, is going to be an increase. So there's one, go back in, 2. Fifth stitch is going to be a single. 6 will be an increase. 7 is a single. 8 is an increase. 9, which is a small one, is a single. 10 is an increase. 11, single. And then my last one will be an increase. So you should now have a total of 18 stitches. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So now what we want to do are just 4 rounds of single crochets in the 18 stitches. So I'll do the first one with you, and then you guys can pause the video and do the remaining 3. So just single crochets around. Again, this is all in white for either Donald or Daisy. So let's begin. Just single crochets. Just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 18. I'm going to place my C-clip back in. Now, if you fear that you might not be able to keep track of how many rows you've done, you might want to just take a band and kind of put it off to the side to show that you've done 1 row and that you need to do 3 more rows. So just keep marking, adding a band for every row that you finish. So go ahead and pause the video and do your 3 more rounds in white, and then we'll start adding like the facial features and the bow or hat. Then we'll continue on. Okay, so I've finished up my additional 3 rounds, so this is what you should have right here. I'm going to take this is where I left off. I'm going to go through the next stitch over, grab a random band, pull it through all the loops on my hook, reclaim, and tie into a slip knot just to hold it. while I'm working on his face, or her face, because I'm making Daisy. So you want your tying off band towards your right, so your eyes. So we will all have the same thing. If you have it towards your left, your eyes are going to be higher up, and your arms won't end up in the right space. So I want the tying off band to be to the right. I'm not going to push my eyes in yet because I want to add eyelashes for Daisy. If you're not making Daisy, you can skip this part here, but I'm just going to quickly show you how to add lashes. So I'm going to take a black band and put it through the eye, if you're using either safety eyes or a cap band. And then I'm going to take the outer part and grab the inner part with my hook, and then slide that under, and I'm going to tie it. I'm holding onto the eye. I'm not holding onto the face, because if I pull this without holding onto the eye, it's going to pull on the other bands, and that's going to create like some gaps and stuff. So I just tied it tightly on to the eye, and I'm going to push it up so that it's sitting at the top. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and push your eye in and adjust that however you'd like. And then you can do your other lash, so you'll just stick it through. Make sure you grab the outer band first and then the inner band, and then slip knot that on. Hold on to your eye while you tighten that. And then you can just adjust it. Gotta shove those eyes in there. Oh look, she looks like she has bags under her eyes. Daisy, you're not getting enough sleep. You can just flip those towards the back. Okay, and then you could just trim your eyelashes with scissors and make them the length that you want them to be. Okay, now let's add our beak. So of course Donald needs a beak too, so this step is going to be the same for either one. And you're basically just gonna lay this on and bring each end through a hole right where you lay it. So you can either, like on Donald, I actually went through the same stitch that the eyes are in. But if you do that, you'll need like a thinner hook. Well, I mean, I guess you could get it through anyways with a regular hook, but it might be easier with a smaller hook to get it through. But I'll just show you with this hook. So I'm just going to move the eye a little bit and stick my hook in there. Your eye is probably going to pop out, so you'll need to adjust that again. I'm just going to pull one end through into the face. And then I'm going to bring the other end through the opposite stitch. Just like that. And then you're going to go in here and tie that off into a knot. Try not to tie it too tight. You don't want to squeeze this real tight because it will kind of bend in the stitches that are in between the beak. It will kind of fold in if you do it too tight. And if you don't want to put your beak there, you don't have to. You can put it further down if you'd like. It's just whatever you guys prefer. So you might have to play around with your eyes a little bit. Grumpy chubby face. So if you're adding, if you're making Donald, you're gonna want to add your little hat, and it's off to the side here on the right. So I'll just show you what I would do if I was making Donald. So I'd lay it where I want it to go, and then I would go in a stitch that's near this tying off band here. Hold on, okay. And bring that down. And I'm going to hold on to this end while I bring that down. And keep that onto your hook. Slide it down onto your hook and go onto the other side and grab the other end down. And then you'll have both of the loops on your hook. So then you'll just slide one under the other and then find some stitches on the inside of the face to go through. And slip knot those with a white band. But I'm not doing Donald, so I'm going to be adding my bow here. And her bow is like right there, so I'm going to go through all of these loops. You don't have to get through all of them because there might be a lot of them. But the center ones, you want to go through as many as you can. So just stick your hook through there. And then you'll grab a white band and bring it through. And then we are just going to attach this the same way as the hat. So you'll just bring these, each end of the white through the head. So just place it how you want. Try to make sure it's centered as much as possible. And I'll bring one end through. And the other end through. Make sure you like it before you continue on. Might do it a little bit lower. And then you'll go in the back. So you have these two loops here. Put those on your hook. Just slip it under. And you can either like pull this tight to make it into a slip knot, or you can go in through some loops in the head and tie that off with a slip knotted band. So take your band, bring it through the loops in the head and the bow loop, and then tie that into a slip knot. And voila. That's it. That's it for the face. Very simple. So now we can continue on, and this is next row is where we're going to start using your scarf color. So again, if you're making Donald, this part will be in green, and if you're making Daisy, you'll be using red. So that will be for the next two rows around. So for this row and the next row, you'll be using your scarf color. So go ahead and grab that tying off band and take it out. Where'd my C-clip go? I think I lost it. Hold on. Let me take this out first. One thing at a time. Pick up where you last left off. And then let me locate my C-clip. Okay, I found it. So you're gonna just stick that in the band that's on your hook. And we are now on row 8. So I wrote it down here, you know, because it's so hard to remember. Green equals Donald, red equals Daisy. Single crochet around in the 18 stitches in your scarf color. Our arms are also going to be going in stitches 4 and 8. So grab your arms and have those ready. So we go into our first stitch and we need to do a color change. So grab your color, bring it through your stitch and this band that's on your hook. So just bring it through all those loops on your hook. Reclaim the other end and tie it like you're tying a loose slip knot. So that was 1. Now I'll go on to my second and just do a regular single crochet. It's 2. Go on to your next one. That's 3. Now I'm going to go into stitch 4. Grab my first arm. Grab one end of the band and slide it through the stitch. Put the other end onto your hook and do your crochet. So that was stitch 4. My next one isn't going to go until stitch 8, so go to stitch 5, grab a regular colored band and do your crochet. Here's stitch 6, stitch 7. Now go into stitch 8, grab your other hand. Okay, bring one into the stitch, up onto your hook, and slide under. And then you can just continue around with single crochets in your scarf color. Okay, then we have this one here. Place your C-clip in that band that's on your hook. And now we are going to do another row around with single crochets in your scarf color. So that is row 9. Single crochet around in the 18 stitches. So for this one, we're going to be skipping that very first stitch there. So whatever color you're using, you're going to skip that first stitch because that's from the color change that we did, and it doesn't actually count as a real stitch. So you're going to skip that and just go into the next one and do your single crochets around in the 18 stitches. Alright, so now that that is done, we can switch back to white. So this is where we're going to be using wrap bands for the rest of Daisy, and this is if you want to make the fuzzy butt. So this is what it's going to look like if you do the fuzzy bum. If not, you can just continue on with the regular bands if you don't want to do the wrap bands, or maybe you don't have enough to do the wrap bands, but it's up to you. I'm going to be doing the wrap bands. So we're going to be doing from row 10 through 12, just single crochets around in the 18 stitches with wrap bands. So I'll do row 10 with you, and then you guys can do 11 and 12 by yourself, because this is a little bit time consuming and I don't think you need to watch me do that whole thing. So we're switching back to white, but I'm not going to do a color change here because you're really not going to see it with the wrap bands. So you're going to stick your hook through that first stitch. You're going to grab a white band, wrap it around your hook once, grab another band, put that wrapped band onto your white band, and then pull it through your stitch only up onto your hook and slide under. So that is how you create the fur. So if you've made the alpaca that I made, then you know how to do this. Or if you've done other people's tutorials, and I know other people use this too. You go into the second stitch, we're going to do the same thing. So you always want to go through the stitch first, then wrap your band around your hook once, and put that onto another band and slide it through and do your crochet. Stick your hook through stitch 3, wrap your band, whoops, make sure it doesn't pop off. Grab your other band, pull it on, and do your single crochet. So it does take a little bit of time, but it's really not that bad. Especially since this is like a smaller design. And it's not for the entire thing, so. So stick your hook through the stitch. Wrap your band, place it, and slide it. Even if you choose not to do this, it will still look cute. I just really like these little mini ones. I think they're pretty cute with the big eyes. But I have not forgotten about the regular ones. Just have not been able to do anything lately. So you're just going to go all the way around like you would a regular round. And then once you get to the end of this one, you're going to need to do 2 more rows of the same thing. Okay, so here's my last stitch here. remember to put your C-clip on. Now we have to do 2 more rows of the same thing. So go ahead and pause the video and continue on with your 2 additional rows. Just remember that when you're going through your stitches, that you're not including the wrap bands with your stitches. So like when you're sticking your hook through the stitch, maybe kind of push those wrap bands down so that you're not accidentally sticking your hook through the wrap bands as well. They kind of get in the way, but I just usually push it down and then stick my hook through and then continue on. So I'll meet you back here when you're finished with that. Alrighty. So we have finished doing our additional 3 rows. Was it 3? No, 2 rows. Duh. So now we are going to be working on row 13. And that is just a single crochet around in the 18 stitches, but in this row we will also be adding our legs in stitches 2 and 5. So we're still continuing with the wrapped bands, so the same thing as we just did, except we will be adding our legs here as well. So I'm going to go into my first stitch, do my wrapped band. So there's stitch 1. Now I'm going to go into stitch 2, and I'm not going to do a wrap band here. I'm just going to grab my leg and bring it through the stitch up onto my hook and slide under. Now in stitch 3 I'm going to do a wrapped band. Stitch 4 will be a wrapped band. Sorry if you can't really see what I'm doing here because of all this mess of fluff. And then go into stitch 5, and I'm going to be adding my other leg here. So bring that through up onto your hook and slide under. And then you can just continue the rest of the way around with your wrap bands. So just do your regular wrapped band single crochets. So I think I'll leave you guys here to finish the rest of this round, otherwise this video will be longer than it should be. So keep going till you get to the end, and then we shall begin doing some decreases. Next, what we want to do is we are now on row 14. And we are going to be doing a single crochet followed by a decrease. We're going to repeat that pattern all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches. And we will also be using our wrap bands here as well. So here's our first stitch. Here will be a single crochet, so make sure you do your wrap band. Do your single. Then we're going to do a decrease. So I'm going to stick my hook through the first front loop only, and then into the next stitch I'm going to pick up the front loop only, so that I have 2 loops on my hook and this loop over here. And I need to make a wrapped band, so I'm going to make my wrapped band. And then I'm going to pull this band through these 2 first loops, and then reclaim onto my hook and do my crochet. So that's a decrease. Going back to a single crochet here with my wrapped band. Then I'm going to do another decrease. So I'm going to go in between this stitch here and in between this stitch here. Make a wrapped band. Pull it through the first 2 loops. Reclaim onto my hook and slide under, and then a single crochet here. These are all wrap bands. I'm not just I just don't want to keep saying a wrap band, a wrap band, a wrap band. And then a decrease. And then a single. A decrease. Single. Decrease. Single. Don't want to get stuck on all that junk. And then a decrease. And when you're finished with this, you should have 12 stitches, which might be hard to count, but they should be there. So let's put a little stuffing in her. Not too much, just a little bit. Just fluff her up. That's a nice thing about the wrap band areas. It hides decreases and stuffing pretty well. So is it just me, or does she look like her name would be Selena Gomez? Like, I don't know. There's just something about her that reminds me of Selena Gomez. So I don't mean to offend any of you Selena Gomez fans, because this duck is adorable. So it just, I don't know, I was just looking at her and I'm like, she looks like Selena Gomez. Okay, anyways. So once you've got her stuffed up, we want to do our last row around, which is just going to be decreasing all the way around, so that we end up with 6 stitches. So just 6 decreases, no single crochets, and these are with wrap bands as well. So I'm going to start off with my first decrease here. And then I'm going to do my second one. Oh. And my third. My fourth. fifth. And one more. And then, as usual, we want to add a slip knotted band to this one so that we can close up that gap. So just tie another band onto that and then go through the top loops of the rest of the stitches that you have left. So just through just through the top loops only. Stick your hook through there, grab that tying off band and bring it through, and then just keep going. It's kind of hard to see with these things here. And I keep pulling other things. So once you've gotten it closed up, you're just going to push it down and pull. And then you need to tie this off. So find a stitch nearby. Try not to go through a wrap band. But if you do, it's not the end of the world. So stick your hook through, then grab one end. Well, that's the only end. And bring it through. And I'm holding this on my finger and I'm going to bring this through there. So it ties a knot. Well, not really a knot, but... And then I just push down and pull. And then you will just tuck this in. Take off that extra tying off band if you wish. Or don't mind me. Okay, whatever. And tuck it in to her body. Okay, so we have one more step that we need to do, and that is to add a little flap for her scarf. So you're going to be needing your scarf color again. So red for Daisy and green for Donald. And I put mine on Donald on the right side because that's where it's supposed to be. And you can decide if you want to make this longer or shorter. But this is what it looks like here. I'll give you a little idea. So I am just going to go in to this last row of red. And I'm probably going to start over here. So I'll stick my hook in through that last row of red. I'm going to grab a red band, bring it through that stitch up onto my hook and slide under like a loose slip knot. Then I'm going to go do another right next to that. So band through the stitch only up onto my hook and slide under. Then I'm going to do that again. You can do this, I'll probably do this 3 times, so I'm trying not to get these wrap bands with it. So you want to put a single crochet here. Get out of there. Wrapped band. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but I have 1, 2, and then I have this one on my hook. So I'm going to actually put one more in down here. One more single crochet. Now I'm going to go back the opposite way. So I've got the band that's on my hook. I'm going to stick my hook into that very first stitch right underneath the band that's on my hook. Grab a red and do a single crochet. So there's one. I'm going to go into the next stitch and do another single crochet. And then I'm going to go into this last stitch here and do another single crochet. I'm going to do the same thing going the opposite way. So I've got the band on my hook. I'm going to go into this stitch right below and do a single crochet. Go into the next stitch and do a single crochet. Then go into the last stitch there and do a single crochet. And then I think I will go, I don't know, I'm going to try one more row going the opposite way again. So here's the band that's on my hook. I'm going to stick my hook. Basically, I'm just going back and forth with 3 single crochets. So you can just keep doing that until you get the length that you want. So you can either do it long or you can do it short. I think this might be my last row here, so we'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it like that. So that's how I'm gonna keep it, and then I'm just gonna go into that same stitch and grab a band, bring it through all the loops on my hook, and tie that into a slip knot. And then you have to hide this band, so I'm going to pull it through on the side. So I'm just going to weave it down and then eventually just tuck it into the body. So there's that. That little white part is bothering me. So if you want to add like this little thing here, you can do that, or if you have any like neat beads or buttons or something like that. See, this thing already came out. You can add whatever you want to these things. But I'm just gonna go ahead and add a gold thing so they can be matching, and so I can cover that white gap right there that's driving me nuts already. So I'm going to use gold, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. It's the same thing I always do for my stars or flowers or snowflakes. Serves many purposes. So you basically want to, I'm sure you guys already know how to do this, but I'll show you just in case. Make a wrap band, make a capping band, I mean. Grab another band, double loop that, and slide that capping band on. Push that down, and you need to make 4 more of those. So here's two. You can push these down further if you need to. Oops. 3, 4, and one more. And then you can just slide these onto a single band. And then reclaim the other end, and then you'll just want to tie that nice and tight so it squeezes it all together. And then you can just fix it up so it looks sort of like something. And then you need to add another tying off band to attach it, so I'm just gonna go through the center, and if the center loosens up a little bit, you'll have to tighten that up again. So I'm just gonna make a tying off band here. And then you're just going to tie this on to the scarf thingy. The heck? It's like so much noise outside today. I was like trying to film another tutorial earlier, and they were like ripping down trees in that video, so I'm just going to tie that into a knot. And then if you don't want like all that like this stuff like hanging out and stuff, which you don't, make sure you tie it real tight, especially if you're using jelly. And then you can just clip that with scissors. But you just want to make sure if you're using jelly that you want to tie it into like as tight of a knot as you can get it, because chances are it's going to untie itself. And voila, we have Donald Duck and Selena Duck. So there they are. I hope you guys enjoyed making them, whether you made Donald or Daisy. I think they both are cute. I like Daisy better though. But I hope you guys enjoyed making them, and I will be looking forward to seeing yours on either Instagram or Facebook. Seems like most people share with me on Instagram rather than Facebook, but that's okay. I have both options for you. So you can find those links in my channel banner above. You just click on it and it will bring you straight to my page. So thank you guys so much for watching and for your support. I always very much appreciate that. And I hope, crossing my fingers, that I can get at least one more Christmas tutorial out before actual Christmas. I managed to film a tutorial earlier today, a Christmas one. So I've got that one, the snowman, and these. So maybe, just maybe, I will be able to put out at least one more Christmas tutorial before actual Christmas. So I'll cross my fingers. But I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you guys are enjoying your holidays with your family and your friends. I will see you guys later for the next tutorial. Bye.